What up, Bugles? I want to welcome you to this video. In this episode of Unspoken Origin, I'm gonna speak about the newest DC Comics initiative. So welcome to DC Absolute, the brand new DC Comics universe. But before I start, please don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything and it means world to us. Also, check out TikTok and Instagram. Okay, restarts, relaunches, reboots. They are for sure nothing new for DC Comics. We get some every few years. In modern era of comic books, we have legendary Crisis on Infinite Earths, which cancel Multiverse and leave us with only one Earth. Multiverse was reborn again in its sequel 20 years later in Infinite Crisis. And after a few years, we got a new 52, which reset whole DC universe, followed Flash and Jeff Jones' event, Flashpoint. After that was Rebirth, kind of continuation of New 52, with a little bit of retcon for whole canon. And lastly, we had Dawn of DC, which lasts till now. But DC Absolute is really different and unique thing. Right now, main DC Universe resonate with Absolute Power crossover event, which resolves around Amanda Waller and her allies, declaring an end to metahumans and stealing the Justice League's power. And Absolute Universe spins directly out of this project. The ending of the Absolute Power crossover and the return of iconic DC villain Darkseid will result in the creation of a new pocket dimension that serves as the home for brand new versions of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern. And exactly these heroes get their own Absolute Solo series, which are meant to be immediately accessible for newcomers, featuring streamlined and modernized versions of familiar characters. The idea is that you can pick up Absolute Batman issue 1 without ever having read a comic book in your life and be just fine. Unlike all past reboots and restarts, this is a really unique approach for DC Comics. You might say we already seen similar attempt before, and yes, there was Earth 1 books and there was set in their own universe and continuity. But Earth 1 never had a consistent release cadence, and those books that was released never really tied together. The Absolute Universe, by comparison, is a completely clean break focused on a handful of ongoing series. And it doesn't hurt that the line features some major names. It's spearheaded by Scott Snyder, the writer of DC's top-selling New 52 Batman series, and the talent pool includes Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval, Kelly Thompson, Jeff Lemire, and Al Ewing. But the Absolute Universe is about more than just making these characters more accessible. It's also an opportunity to rethink them in their basics. All these heroes comes from a very different background and origin stories than we are used to in main DC Universe. The idea is to explore just how much the heroism embodied by these characters is innate, rather than shaped by circumstances. DC has also hinted that there's an overreaching story in the work involving the relationship between the regular DC universe and the Absolute Universe. It all seems to hinge on Darkseid, a villain who will be driving the direction of the DC line following the Absolute Power crossover. Let's talk about 5 titles featured in the Absolute Universe line for a little bit more. Creative team behind Absolute Batman will be Fantastic Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Readers might know Snyder's work from New 52 Batman series or Multiverse Madness events Dark Knight's Metal and Dark Knight's Dead Metal. All of these series and events was released in its own Omnibus books. Snyder is ready to introduce readers to a completely different vision of the Dark Knight. Him and artist Nick Dragotta refer to this hero as the Batman who lives, as this is a brawnier Batman than we ever seen. But Batman's added bulk is the least of the difference, setting him apart from the traditional Caped Crusader. This is a Bruce Wayne without the incredible financial resources. Rather than being a billionaire playboy, he's a humble Gotham City engineer and construction worker who forged his own suit of crime-fighting armor. Snyder teased at San Diego Comic-Con that the series features a reinvention of the character. The same we can say about Batman's supporting cast and Rose Gallery. Alfred Pennyworth is being reimagined as an ME6 agent who first encounters Bruce while on a mission in Gotham. Snyder and Dragotta also showed off some concept art for Black Mask at a DC panel, with the villain getting a creepy, sci-fi flavored makeover, very much in keeping with Dragotta's usual style. Jason Aaron and Rafa Sandoval will bring us Absolute Superman. True is, we don't know much about his title or on how exactly the series will transfer Superman, but it sounds like this could be the most fundamental overhaul of the bunch. Jason Aaron, known for his legendary THOR or new launch of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, revealed that his goal with Absolute Superman is to imagine what the character would be like if he were conceived in 2024 rather than 1938. Apart from the fact that Superman is an alien refugee from the doomed planet of Krypton, anything and everything is up for reinterpretation in this version. It appears that this is a Superman who never grew up at Kent family farm. We don't even know how different his powers will be at this point, but I'm certainly looking forward to find out. Birds of Prey writer Kelly Thompson and the few artist Hayden Sherman are teaming up for the Absolute Wonder Woman. This version of Diana Prince is the one who grew up in the underworld rather than in Themyscira. She rides a winged spectral horse and carries some very imposing weapons. Basically, she looks to be a Wonder Woman by way of God of War. But as with Batman and Superman, the goal is to explore what place this version of Wonder Woman has in the modern world, and how much of her innate heroism can emerge in a world with no family and no guiding mission of peace. We don't know much about Absolute Flash except the fact it will be written by Jeff Lemire, known for his Sweet Tooth series, which you might know also from its Netflix adaptation. Art will be provided by Nick Robles, and I fell in love with his work in a spectacular sci-fi horror DC Black Label series, The Nice House on the Lake, which won a bunch of comic book awards a few years back. We also know series introduced a version of Wally West with no apparent ties to Barry Allen. Based on teaser art shown in San Diego Comic-Con, it appears the Speed Force is a more sinister and malevolent influence in the Absolute universe. Last title of DC Absolute line is Absolute Green Lantern. Immortal Hulk writer Al Ewing is making his DC debut here, teaming with Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow's Jenna Lindsay for a brand new take on the Green Lantern mythos. Ewing described it as a first context story at the Jim Lee and Friends panel at the San Diego Comic-Con, and the book will feature an assembled cast of lanterns that includes Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart. By the way, I really recommend it to check out the DC All-In Special one-shot, which serves as a primer for both DC Absolute and DC All-In Initiative, which will be new starting point for main DC Universe after its last crossover event. It will be released on October 2nd, 2024, the same day as the final issue of Absolute Power. DC Absolute is a bold and exciting launch, and I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it will bring us unique takes on our beloved heroes and tons of quality read which will last for years. Meantime, you can find many DC Comics books in our eShop, comicsbugle.com. Your friendly neighborhood comic book shop in Europe. Except of great catalog of collected, deluxe and absolute editions, epic collections and omnibuses, we guarantee you eco-friendly Hulkproof packaging, free shipping in whole EU, an option to pre-order your comic book now and pay for it later. You can also split full price to 4 separate payments because we know how expensive these books can be, so check it out, comicsbugle.com. You can find direct link below this video. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out any further videos. In our comment section, you can write us what other topics or books would you like to see in our videos. And see ya, Bugles!